Hello and good time zone, everybody, and welcome back to Horde of Tales in 2024 for our very first stream of this year. My name is Marcus, pronouns are he, him, also known as the Chindividual, and I have the honor of having this entire table back for yet another session of Six Moon Saga of Fabula Ultima Actual Play. Who are these fantastic people? Well, they're going to introduce themselves to us once again, starting in the top left with Angela.
I knew it was going to be first. Hello there, lovely beings. It's lovely and fantastic to see everybody in 2024, at least when we are doing this live. My name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be playing Genevieve, Phoebe, Almost, who is our fantastic arcane inventor, who is about to break up a fight.
Ooh, spoilers! Moving on to someone who may or may not also be involved in breaking up a fight, Gabrielle.
I am certainly involved in breaking off a fight. Well, I am Gabrielle. I'm back again. Yay! And my pronouns are they and she. I will be playing Loara, our warrior moon princess. And I had something else that I wanted to say, but hey, I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to this game.
And we're glad to having you back at the table again. Moving over to the player who plays two characters at this table and who last time learned some very interesting bits of information. Nikki, welcome back.
Hello there, I'm Nick, he, they, and I will be playing Lian, the duo of Yao the human and Yuan the fox. And yeah, this will be my first AP and also my first TTRPG game of the new year of 2024. So I am looking forward to see how it goes and to see how this little conflict resolves.
Everybody keeps talking about a conflict to resolve. I wonder what this is about. Nev, maybe you could tell me more about this?
Conflict may or may not be about me. Hi, everybody. I'm Nev. I'm sick, so I sound a little weird. I'm sorry. I'm your friendly neighborhood squid person playing Sable, who is definitely an eldritch being in a human body. And they just had some psychic emanation that they weren't aware they could do. My pronouns are she, they. Sable's pronouns are they, them. And I'm going to stop talking now.
Glad to have you. Thanks for coming back, all of you. And we couldn't be coming back to a more interesting moment in the story because we kind of ended on a little cliffhanger before our break over the holidays. And that's where we're going to return to. But what did actually happen so far? Well, a very brief recap of recent events. Our adventurers have been dealing with shenanigans involving Forkbridge's so-called wellspring, a magical source of energy and protection that seems to have been meddled with by strange white-clothed figures. After a showdown with one of these figures at the wellspring itself, the party returned back to the surface and witnessed the arrival of the strange, mysterious, self-piloting airship known as the Sojourner, an airship that keeps to an, self-navigating route between the world of Thea and its 5 moons, but that has now arrived way ahead of schedule over the town of Forkbridge. After a bit of information gathering, relaxing, and of course, a good shopping trip for most of the party is planning their next moves. While most of the party was out enjoying their shopping trip, the duo of Lian, Yuan and Yao, actually had a conversation with two individuals that were kind of similar to Lian. A wolf-eyed girl and a human-eyed wolf that informed them that they were to choose sides in an upcoming conflict involving the children of Thule, the creators of the now destroyed 6th moon of the world. Also, it might have been implied that one of the party members is actually one of the creatures that these children of Thule are trying to unleash, which leads us to our cliffhanger where we left off last time, namely a conversation over breakfast where information was exchanged and Leon challenged Sable on certain points in a telepathic conversation, which was then intruded by a voice, a strange voice emanating from Sable's mind. Tensions are high as Sable and Leon are in telepathic communication with each other at the breakfast table, while Vivi and Luara are just seeing their companions sitting there. What, dear players, are you going to do?
So I will say the moment Lian hears that voice, particularly inside their head, Yao is going to instantly sort of like stiffen and sort of like gets up to his feet and draws his claws out, but not like, it's sort of like in a aggressive stance, but not like jumping at someone, just like, you know, in combat stance, as Yuan at the back sort of like stands up and looks over Yao's shoulder at Sable, and Yuan is going to attempt to see if she can lock onto that voice. And because she remembers, I mean, Lian remembers what Sable mentioned about what they are, and so Yuan is trying to see if this voice is Sable or another presence inside them.
All right. While the duo of Leon does that, Sable, how do you respond to this voice and this situation?
Sable doesn't move. They freeze. Except where their face is normally set in a sort of intense stare, their eyes widen in like shock and surprise and confusion. That's all they do.
Vivian and Luara, you both see this happening. The response from Leon, the expression on Sable's face. What is your response to the situation?
And Luara is like, so, and that is based on a modified version of permaculture techniques that we brought from the planet up to the moon like decades ago. And then what? What's up? What is happening?
Sable, what's wrong?
I don't know. There was another voice in my head. Not mine.
Is it still there?
Is it, DM?
You focus on where you imagine this voice would be somewhere in your mind. And as you try to pinpoint it mentally, instead of the voice, you briefly see a vision. As if you're seeing something from your own eyes. It's a first person's perspective. You see a sky above you with 5 moons in perfect alignment under each other. And ahead of you, just remnants of destruction and mayhem. And outlined by all of that, right in front of you stands this massive, gargantuan figure. It is on its upper half, just this gigantic humanoid body, as if chiseled out of granite. Long arms. But the lower body is this giant horse-like body, though the legs are not those of horses, but just these pillars of fire that burn the ground beneath them. And as you look up at that figure, you see that it's spreading 6 wings out over the night sky, each of them made from the fabric of the stars itself. And it looks down at you, and then you hear the voice again. And it says to you, Sable, and since the telepathic link is there, very briefly also in Leon's mind, you hear this voice saying, "They are returning. We have work to do." And then the vision fades and you see your friends around you again, Sable.
Okay. I would say that Sable's eyes turned entirely black during that vision. So everyone saw something happened. Sable then just sort of looks again, still wide-eyed and confused. I just saw something. Can I show you?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Slightly more, what's the word? With a little bit more force than intended, which causes a bit of a twinge in your heads. You see the vision Marcus just described.
And as Sable shares this vision, all of you seeing this titanic figure, and Luara, you recognize these 5 moons in perfect alignment underneath each other, and those 6 wings next to them. You recognize those as symbols of one of the old royal houses on your home moon. Just 5 dots and 6 wings at their side. Leon, as you, the two of you, Yuan and Yao, behold this vision, your angle, your perspective, the point of view for you shifts. You're looking down on this scenario. You see this titanic figure from behind. You are on one of those moons in the sky. And you see the angle from which Sable saw the vision. And it is just this figure, tall figure, completely dressed in darkness. But from your perspective, you know that what they have to do is necessary to save the world. The visions vanish in your minds as well.
I'll say Yao, he's like still a bit like aggressive, teeth bared, but then he sort of like sits back a bit as almost a frown comes onto his face as Yuan also retracts a bit, like trying to process the vision that they just saw. Like, are we able to put together that the voice came from this titanic figure, or is it something else?
You would put together that the voice did not come from the titanic figure. It came from the figure that is from Sable's point of view in the vision.
Mm-hmm. So am I able to differentiate that voice from Sable, or to me, the voice is still Sable themselves.
That is a good question. Because at first, when you heard the voice for the first time coming from Sable's mind, when you had this telepathic link with them, it sounded different. But as you now hear it again in this vision, it starts to resemble Sable's voice more, as if it's slowly adjusting pitch and cadence to Sable's voice.
Huh. Yuen is gonna circle around Yao and hovers her face right in front of Sable's and stare into their black eyes, and they're gonna. Does Sable react to that?
Oh, they're sitting still.
All right. So yeah,
Their
Yuen is
eyes
gonna.
are back to their normal blue.
Yeah, Yuen is gonna look at and she's gonna try to see if she can sense another presence inside.
Can you give me a insight and willpower roll for that, please?
All right. Where is my dice? Okay. Ah, boy. That is a 6. Wait, can I use my Fabula Ultima point for this?
You could, because
Yes.
is there maybe
Yeah. I mean, sense like, I see Sable as a threat to the world. And this is my attempt to try to root out whether they are actually the threat or something else is behind it. So can I invoke my Protector of the Wild identity?
I would totally say so. Yeah,
All
you
right.
can spend that Fabula point and then re-roll one of your dice.
Okay, 1 dice. Come on, please. Okay, I can. It went from a 6 to an 8.
Right? And you were basically trying to gauge if it's a different entity that is inside Sable or if it is Sable.
Yes.
Very hard to gauge that in this situation. And it would take more time and study to really get a definitive answer to this. So unclear to you at this point.
Yuan's head sort of like retracts a bit, and you can see this close, Sable. You can see like Yuan's human eye sort of like goes pensive a bit, as if she's thinking about something for a moment. And then, completely unprompted, Yao just slowly leans back and sits back onto his chair. He is still watching you, but warily, but no longer aggressive. And Yuan will slowly retract back, staring. And then she will go, "There is something inside you. I can tell what it is. Who are you?"
I wish I knew.
And then Yuan's ears gonna perk and look around. Are we drawing attention? This is like the end.
That was going to be my next question as well.
There's this entire situation, of course, especially at the point when Vivi and Luara were also drawn to that. People have been moving around, and there's at this point in the morning in the inn that you're staying, there's not too many people, but there's this one bouncer brother that you met a few sessions ago who's currently busy helping a little bit with the cleaning, and he's looking at all of this, and he's like making sure that he keeps an eye on the situation in case anything escalates. There's also one of the barkeeps who's like keeping an eye at all of this, but they're not intervening at this point. People are aware that something is going on, but they're just keeping an eye at how this develops.
Yeah, then Yuan will back off and sort of like takes her place back behind Yao.
As Leon also asked Sable who they are, and Sable responded to that, Sable, you hear this voice just whispering to you. No one else on the telepathic connection hear this. This is only to Sable. There's this very faint Salioda.
Okay. Sable does not know what to make of that, so they will just continue to sit there frozen.
How easy is it for me to communicate back with Marla at this point?
I think you had the handy dandy communicator for that.
I did.
The what was it, like, not a pocket mirror, but kind of like the idea
Yeah.
of that.
Yes.
You could use that to also try and reach out to Marla.
All right. So it's just pick up and call, right?
Exactly.
All right. So I am going to stand up, and Laura stands up and says, "Excuse me, I must leave for a few moments." And she will turn and walk away towards somewhere she can find a little bit of quiet.
Right. There's like a little nook that you can find to have a private call.
Yeah. She picks up the communicator and calls to Marla.
Who quickly, you see the image of Marla appearing in the mirror-like display of it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything all right? You look a little bit terrified.
Just a quick question. Does the house that I saw in the vision have a name? The symbol? The house that I saw the symbol of.
The symbol
Does
of,
it have a name?
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
They are House Visalis.
Gonzalez.
I'm gonna put the name in our Discord chat for people who want to write it down.
Mistress, what can you tell me of House Visalis?
Well, that is an old name. Didn't think I would have to teach you about history. I usually taught you other stuff in Luara. But House Visalis used to be one of the ruling families of our moon. They vanished generations ago, but there were rumors that one of their last members were seen on the moon about 10 years ago.
I will ask you something very strange. I would like to ask you, please, can you investigate that?
You want me to investigate that while I'm also keeping an eye on these white-clothed figures who have come up here?
Well, you know what I mean. Can you pull some strings, ask some people? I'm sure that there must be some. Look, I don't know how to explain this, but I have seen a vision. I mean, I've seen a vision that someone has said. Oh, you know what? It's too complicated to explain, but you must believe me. There's something about them. I've seen the moons in alignment and six wings, just like the symbol, just like the not believe the word, just like the symbol of House Visalis. It's their seal. It's something to do with that. Can you?
I can have some people read up on it and investigate.
That's all I ask.
You sound very worried, Luara.
Well, it is. I think we might be heading back to Bloom very soon, since the Sojourner is here.
Well, I won't lie, I would be happy if you came back here. but I would wish it would be under better circumstances and not with these strange omens.
Yes, I must say the same. Mistress, by all means, whatever you do, stay safe.
And you too. She nods her head and then ends the connection.
And Laura closes the mirror. You know, she looks up towards the sky, towards the moons. How close does it seem that they might be aligned by any means?
Oh, at
From
this
our
point, if you would look out,
perspective.
if you would look out of a window, like it is daytime, it's harder to see all of the moons.
Oh, yeah.
But from what you can see, the moons don't look like they would be in any kind of straight line or anything.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, and Laura decides that she will, she will hit the books herself, in this place as well, see what she can find.
All right. Meanwhile, in the main room, what's happening with the rest of the gang?
Very awkward breakfast.
Yeah, I
Most
think
awkward breakfast.
Sable has stopped eating altogether. They're trying to remember the word that they heard, but they can't hold on to it. Their face has sunk back into the regular sort of intense, focused expression. But Vivi would notice there is just a tiny bit of a frown. That means they're working on something, they're thinking about something, and they're not sure what to do with it.
Yeah, Lien is the same. Like they're eating, like with the food in front of them, and Yao occasionally passing like bits of meat to Yuan, but they are telepathically discussing their next move, trying to figure out, still debating whether Sable is the threat or something else is. And I would say throughout all of this, at one point, Yuan's eyes is gonna go to you, Vivi, as if in reminder of our deal with each other, where you get one chance to, sort of like urging you to talk to Sable, basically, and get to the bottom of this mystery, since Lien knows that you are close with them.
Vivi is definitely having a minute of like, I think the social equivalent of where'd everybody go in terms, because it's like, what, our moon princess has walked off. Close friend is basically having a bunch of stuff going on, and then the other one who's threatened the close friend with direct violence is apparently quietly talking to themselves. Leon, is there something you would like to share? You seem like you're thinking about something.
Yuan will again turn to you. Yao is just staring straight at Sable as he eats, just spooning food into his mouth, but eyes is just staring. And then Yuan will just go, just debating our next move.
Well, considering everything that's been going on, I would say we should get the rest of our equipment. Should all be ready as of now. And I would lean towards going towards the Sojourner, at least, or checking in with the mayor to see if there's any last things we need to figure out. But if we just wanted to head to the Sojourner after I picked up the rest of my materials and my gear, then I would be perfectly fine with that.
As you offer and float these suggestions, the room of the front door of the three-headed lion opens with a bit of a squeak, and entering and slow and with not too large or too wide steps, but still with sureness in her steps, you see the cat person receptionist Leiko that you met at the mayor's office. approaching the table. She has a coat on and a bag in her hand, and she looks at you and goes, "Good morning. Apologies, am I interrupting anything?"
No. Please feel free to speak.
Well, Mayor Cornelia Dane sent me over here, and she requests your presence in the in her office. There's a situation, and she would very much appreciate your assistance. Of course, with along with it, the correct compensation for your efforts.
Yes, we'll be along shortly. We're waiting for. I assume Enluara has now, like, come back at this point after all of this, and Vivi is just noting to the receptionist. Yes, we'll be along shortly.
All right. I'll let the mayor know. And she looks at all of you, really much noticing the bit of the tension in the air, and then just quickly curtsies and leaves again.
Yao will shovel what's left of the food inside his mouth and then stands up and getting ready to head to the mayor's office.
Right.
And Luara says, I must. There's something that is bugging me, but I will tell you about it another time. In the meantime, I suppose, yes, we must get a move on right now. And then she grabs a potato, sticks it in her bag, in a way that she swears that nobody has seen it, but probably half of you has.
It's the typical breakfast potato. You keep that with you.
I'm having big Korean street market vibes when they like just serve you straight up split sweet potato. Either that or Attack on Titan. Two very contrasting things coming to mind right now.
Oh, yeah, sweet potatoes with butter. Sorry.
So is everyone else then getting ready to head over to the mayor's office?
Yes.
Sable will get up, sort of look awkwardly at Leon. Are we okay?
Lian, Yao doesn't look at you. They're just like, he's just on his way, but Yuen just sort of like glances towards you and goes, "For now."
Fair enough.
After you.
And Luar, if something's bothering you, you can tell us. We have a walk to the mayor's office.
I need to know more before I share it with you. But there's something that I saw in that vision. Let me learn some more. I believe, I don't know. My intuition says that I will find something about it in the Sojourner.
The moment you said it has something to do with the vision, Yuen just instantly, her eyes just turn towards you. But she doesn't say anything for now.
And I was like, okay. I did not. That was unexpected. I suppose everyone is on edge.
Yes. We should go see what the mayor wants with us. No doubt to clean up more of her mess, and Yuen will head out with Yao.
Right. You leave behind the three-headed lion and walk through the streets of Forkbridge, still a hustle and bustle, and it feels as if even more people have come to town in less than a day time since the Sojourner has arrived. People are gathered at certain spots where they have a clear view of this massive airship looming over the city, the shadow cast over the town.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That should
And
be recorded and used in a horror movie. And that's not continue.
so somewhere in the distance, there was indeed a very excited sound coming.
A very
As
angry
you-
guinea pig barbarian in the background.
Exactly, they are known in
That
these.
was probably a guinea pig barbarian tearing down something, and the child now body slamming me in the middle of the and
Exactly.
biting me as well. Yes, this is chaos, absolute chaos.
As you're making your way through the town, you come and notice that there's actually people gathered in certain places to view the airship. You also come past. You briefly have a chance to say hi to Yuri, the merchant leader, who has been out in the streets as well, selling merchandise, making quite a good bit of coin out of the extra bustle and hustle currently in the town. But maybe the most standout thing as you walk here, having some conversations here and there, is Sable. Sable, would you look up at the Sojourner? And if so, what do you think of this, that this ship has arrived here?
Well, they don't have the knowledge or the history of knowing that the Sojourner is supposed to be on a normal route. People have told them that, but it doesn't mean as much to them as it does to everyone else. What they think about when they look up at it is there's a little feeling inside of them that's excited about being among the stars.
Excited about being among the stars. Chance of going up there.
Yeah.
As you think that, as you have that image rummaging through your mind, you start to notice that you also think of coordinates, positions in a three-dimensional space. And you look at this ship and realize that it does. You have this idea that you have helped building this vessel.
I have
Yep.
Carry on. No, carry on. Finish the description.
But you don't know where that feeling comes from. You just feel very convinced that you have helped building this ship. And that it being here on these coordinates, while it should be at other coordinates, is something that you built into it.
Okay. Player needs a minute to think about that.
Right. I think there was something Gabriel wanted to ask in the meantime.
I want to ask if there's any chance that I could have like a quick exchange with Yuri.
Quick exchange with Yuri as you
Since we
walk
saw-
by, and is
Yeah.
all right. Yuri
Yeah.
is currently
Yuri-
busy. He's very quickly selling dice to people. They seem to be really flying off the shelf at the moment. And as
Oh,
you
wow.
walk up to him, oh, and Luara.
Oh yeah. Oh, greetings. It is good to see you here. You seem to be doing fine.
Selling these polyhedral objects. They're selling really well.
What
They're
are
playing
they
people-
for?
Well, they play these kind of games where people pretend to be other people.
That's strange. Might be fun. In any case, Ichuri, I just came in here to, and this is the point where I would like to spend a couple of points. to
Fabula
add a
point.
detail, yes, to the story.
Yes, and what would you like to add?
Yuri sells odds and ends, right? And
Yes.
occasionally stuff that he manages to scrap off. Yeah. If that is okay, this just came in my mind a couple minutes ago. I would like to ask Yuri if I would like to add among Yuri's merchandise a slab of old tech, that has inscribed on it the symbol of House Visalis, like one of those information cartridges. Okay, I mean, we don't have the thing to access it, but it is there.
So what you're specifically looking for is that he has just some kind of item with the emblem of House Visalis on it.
Yes. And to add another point to it, it just looks like a Super Nintendo cartridge. In all that matters, it is a Super Nintendo cartridge.
and for its functionality, it would be would be like some kind of kind of thing that holds data that you could if you had the right equipment, you could get the data out of it.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
you ask Yuri for that. He's thinking.
And I look at that. No, I'm spending the Fabula point to have it added as one of the things that he has that nobody's paying attention to, and I'm like, wait, what is that? You know what I mean?
Oh, you're right. Sense? He picks the totally not Super Nintendo cartridge off his shelf, and he looks at it. Well, you're interested in this thing?
Yes. How did you come by this?
Oh, I got this a few years ago. Looks interesting. Someone told me that there's some information on this, but I never got the right tools to extract the data from it.
How much do you want for that?
Well, I was thinking of going for at least 197 zenith and a little bit of pocket change. But then I remembered, and Luara, we had a really, really fun evening last night. Remember, we went out for a drink together? You came along with the merchants and everything?
True.
And I think, look, I think we should hang out more. So, I'll make you a deal. I'll give you this one. Free of charge. But before you head off out of this city or out of wherever you want to go, you come with me and my colleagues to have one more drink, nice cozy evening together, tell us more of these great stories, and then you can have this.
Quick question, logistically, is that possible? Or do we have time?
Well, the future is unwritten. You don't know for sure. You don't know if you could make it.
I look at the Sojourner off in the distance, the silhouette of the ship, and I say, I will promise that we will have that drink if I am in town tonight, but I am not sure how much, with all of the unpredictable things that are happening, I am not sure how much time I have before the thing decides to depart. So what say you if we do not do that now, we do that as soon as I come back, and I promise I will come back.
Yuri notices you looking at the Sojourner before you said that, and he's also looking at it, and there's this smile on his face, and he says, you're planning to go on it, aren't you?
Why, yes. If I must be candid with you. Me and my companions believe that that is where the path that lays ahead of us leading to.
All right. I get it. You're the adventuring type. You don't stay around long. You just make sure when you get up there with you and your friends, you take a good look at everything. You tell me what's in there, what's up there, what people are there, what wonders are there. And when you get back, and you will get back in Luara, you tell me all of that.
And I will bring you something very fancy.
And he just his big hand comes out and he's reaching it out to shake your hand.
And I shake his hand.
And you shake hands and he hands you over the not Super Nintendo cartridge with possibly information on House Visalis on there, as he just lets out another big laugh and turns to one of the other customers that's already approaching.
Evie's reflexively trying to grab the cartridge and just start blowing on the bottom of it to see if it'll work.
Yes, and Laura, yes, you see Laura like walking off, with it and looking like there's a little bit of dust here.
That Gabriel with the exact same thought about the cartridge.
It's just a bit dusty. Why? Okay, so I'll figure this out.
All right. So, while Sable was wondering about the information that has come into their mind, and Luara was getting data in the greatest format that ever existed, you have made your way slowly to the mayor's office. Lyko has ushered you into the private office of the mayor, and as you enter, she's already sitting there, her axe-beaked bird nearby. Already, that bird is again glaring over at Leon and doing this side eye that crows do as well. And
Ewan does the same side eye back as she passes.
But the mayor jumps out of her chair and claps her hand and goes like, "Oh, great. Just the people I need. It's good to see you. You're all looking fine. Look what wonders a night of sleep can do. How are you feeling well? Did you have a relaxing evening? Are you completely not scared by the fact that an ancient ship that isn't supposed to show up for another few months is already here?"
I mean, it is what it is, isn't it?
That is a very practical approach to this matter.
I don't know enough about it to be freaked out by it, I'm afraid.
Just and Laura turns to Sable. Just pretend that it's something absolutely terrible that you have no idea what could mean, and act accordingly so people don't think you don't understand, if that's what you wish. Just make a terrified face occasionally when you think about it.
Sable just looks at you nonplussed, like, the fuck? They don't say anything, but they're just like sort of deadpan on their face, like,
Ewan is just gonna.
No, I'm just trying to.
It's like just a quick look, and then just turns to the mayor. You requested for us. Just moving it on.
Right, yes. Well, I personally have been managing some of the reactions to the appearance of the Sojourner. I have been in conversation with many of the merchants guilds who weren't prepared yet for their arrival. The docking towers are not ready yet to let people on the Sojourner, or the people from the Sojourner to come down here. And, well, knowing that the wellspring is one thing I still have to get fixed, I was looking for people who might help me out in investigating the Sojourner situation. I need people who can get up there, with maybe a little bit of help from my side, and take a look if anything is wrong on the Sojourner. We have tried reaching out with the people on the Sojourner, but we haven't had any responses from them. We have communications equipment and spells for that, but none of them seem to reach the people up there. So I need eyes up there, feet up there, and I know, and she's like, at this point, just like really laying it on thick, I know that you are the perfect people for that.
Is there any information that you're keeping from us regarding this right now?
All right, that was a fair point to make. I know that in our last conversation, I was a little bit hesitant in sharing full information. And
You
if
get
there was,
information from us directly that could have
I would
impacted our lives and our well-being, yes.
I would not say hiding, I would say more omitted information.
A lie of omission is still a lie.
Well, that was yesterday, and things have changed, and I will promise that at this point I will not withhold information. The information that we do have is that we tried to communicate with the people on the Sojourner, and we have not heard from them. We are currently busy in trying to prepare as fast as we can our docking tower and facilities for the Sojourner so that the people who would like to travel along to its next stop, not even knowing if it's going to have that next stop as it's out of schedule at this point, can get up. But before we want to do that, I need to know that people will be safe up there, that there's not something terrible that has happened. And I need, well, capable individuals like you to help out with that.
Ah, indeed. So business first. Laura picks up like that. I mean, unless I understand incorrectly, she wants to make sure that she will be able to conduct business as usual.
And you would also pick up that she's legitimately wants to make sure before people start getting up there by themselves that they're not walking into a dangerous situation.
Okay. All right. So there is an actual concern as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
This is
So-
a out of character question. So the Sojourner, right? The entire thing with it is that it was built neither by the people of Thea or the moons, right? So
Exactly.
So what do the residents inside, because they do land, right? What do they look like? Do they look like aliens or do they look like us?
No, the people who do reside on the Sojourner full time are also like regular people on Thea. There is a group of people who long ago, since the Sojourner is taking its cycle along the moons, have decided to just stay on it full time. And they have made their own communities on the ship and help people who just hop on there for a stop or two to have a comfortable life while up there. And there's also among them people who try to also learn more about the Sojourner, try to understand it, try to figure out where it came from.
Oh, so maybe the Sojourner appeared one day and then people went on it to stay inside. So it didn't just show up with people already
No.
inside.
Exactly.
Okay, that was my confusion. Okay.
No problem.
All right.
And it's always had that course on it, right?
Exactly. The course was always the same.
So you're looking for us just to figure out what's going on with the ship and why no one has been contacting and responding to any of your messages from the devices.
Correct.
All right. I would be curious to know what is the initial offer of compensation for this.
$500 zenith for each of you.
Don't worry. I just need a moment out of character to process project progress and put my hands together like a small greedy capitalist.
Yuan will just go, we have no need for zeniths. The rest of you may have our share.
Vivi in another reality is just doing the Scrooge McDuck dive into a room full of zenith.
I'm even willing to pay half of it up in front for any preparations that you need to make.
That
I
sounds
want
to
very
get money. I'm
reasonable.
happy. I need money for all of my shit.
I think Sable, seeing that Vivi is taking a second to process the money, goes, that sounds reasonable to me.
I want to be completely honest here. There is a very real element of danger to this. We have never had a visit of the Sojourner where we could not communicate with the people who were up there on it. And the Sojourner arriving out of season, out of rhythm, is strange. So I cannot say what you might find up there.
Thank you for the warning.
Well, I said I would be honest, not withholding any information. I do understand that you might have a question on how you would get up there, unless I am completely underestimating your creativity.
Vivi has not yet built an airship, no. Though I'm sure she will someday.
Immediate, just huge red blush just goes over her face at being thought of so highly. She's like, I did not. That's out of my wheelhouse, but also, it's the effect of. It's just the equivalent facially of thanks, babe.
We have in our docking tower, there are gliders available, which I have come to understand also have what my chief technician Darius calls an enhanced booster system to propel you closer to it. Darius would be willing to get you acquainted with those systems to get you up on the Sojourner, and his contraptions should, in theory, also get you down if necessary. Darius is a very competent technician, though since one of his attempts on fixing a minor issue at the wellspring himself, we had to be a little bit more careful on which projects we put him. But he has been doing excellent jobs at maintaining the docking tower and all our communication equipment and various other spell-based technologies. He would be willing to assist you at the docking tower, help you to get up there, and has more information about the Sojourner itself.
When will you have us leave?
Well, as soon as possible. I mean, I understand you might want to have some additional preparations done, especially considering I'm sponsoring half of it ahead of it, of the financial compensation. But the sooner the better.
We have no preparations necessary, but, and then Yuan will turn to the others.
I believe that we. I must be honest. I would do anything now to get into that ship. So
Can't think of anything I might need, Vivi.
I just need to go pick up the rest of my equipment,
Yeah.
and then I think we have everything else. I've recovered most of my inventory and basic supplies I need to take care of us. So it's just my new weapon and my shield. She's still moving around slightly awkwardly. She's still getting used to the new outfit. She's like,
The mayor actually notices and goes like, "Love the new look, Vivi."
She loses a portion of her neck as she sinks down into herself, very embarrassed. Thank you. But yes, we will. Where should we meet you? Where should we meet in order to facilitate making use of the boost to get through to the Sojourner?
The docking tower is not too far from the city center. My secretary Leiko can guide you to it, and from there, Chief Technician Darius will help you out.
Then it's settled. We shall be along as soon as we can.
Very well. Thank you once again for your assistance and safe journeys.
Immediately pockets the 250s in it and just...
You are indeed, as all of you are ushered out, Leiko has already been informed about all of you getting 250 Zenith ahead of this. And Vivi, you actually just go back to the blacksmith to pick up your shield. And what was it? What other thing did you get?
It was the essentially her modified version. Instead of using a gun, she has it. It is like an armed crossbow essentially that reloads, but there is the adjustment that she's included for the blacksmith is to essentially create a secondary spot on it where something could be loaded, but there is no actual loading mechanism, because my idea for it is that she essentially, in order to get the second shot, mechanically you have to spend MP to do that. So I think she's using some of her own like ethereal essence to create essentially a second aether arrow to fire off another shot.
Interesting.
But it still needs room on the crossbow, so she's basically made a double shooting arm crossbow for herself.
Amazing. You pick those indeed up from the blacksmith together with a shield that you got for yourself.
I have 11 defense now. It's great.
And eventually also Leiko guides all of you to the docking tower, which is, you kind of noticed it earlier when you walked through the city center. It's this, what looks like at first, like a tower that is just cut off at a certain height. But as you now wander to it, you see that in the past day, there seems to be this metal tube that seems to be coming out of it, like some kind of large telescope. As the tower slowly gets higher, there's also cranes that have been brought towards it, and you see an entire crew being busy of preparing the docking tower, getting it to the right height. You see construction workers, but also spellcasters, magicians, putting the right magics into the tower so that it's stabilized. There's a certain hum of both work and magic coming from this side. And Leiko, who has guided you there, she's looking around the people working there. And then she notices one person, raises her hand and goes, Darius. And turning around is this, there's this darker skinned man with these big goggles on, who was currently in one hand having a welding torch, and with the other there's still the glow of magic around his hand as he was working on some part of the construction. Turns around and the welding torch goes off, the magic fades from the hand, and he pulls up the goggles, stands up, and he's like easily 2 meters tall as he walks towards you and looks down at probably most of you. I think maybe you and Yao, or maybe one of no, definitely not. Yao is definitely way smaller.
Yes, but maybe a bit.
Yeah, he looks at all of you. First, like there's like a bit of a frown on his face as he checks each of you out, and then this big smile comes on, like, well, hello there. Welcome to the docking tower. I am Chief Technician Darius. It's my honor to you. I've been informed already that you are the lot we're getting up on that. And he points up to Sojourner.
Oh
Yes,
no,
we
I
are.
love him already.
Have you, by any chance, ever traveled by glider?
Yuan will hold up one paw and goes, "No opposable thumbs, unfortunately."
Oh, well, that is interesting. I think I have to make some last-minute adjustments to your set. I have to say,
Wait,
it's been at least 2 years ago since I put a glider on a fox, and it wasn't as big as you were.
Oh wait, the glider is for individuals. I thought it was a one giant glider where we all go in.
Well, I tried the one individual glider once, but it crashed disastrously.
Interesting.
I tend to trip over my own feet, so no, I haven't.
Oh, it happens to me as well, and I tripped into a career of science and magic. Look where tripping can get you.
I love him, Your Honor. I love him so much.
Well, if you haven't traveled by glider, has anyone of you ever traveled with the feeling of having 2 big rockets strapped to your back and just launching yourself at wherever you want to go?
Can't say that we have.
I've only ever seen ground-based Magitech that my father was working on. I've never seen anything with aerial capabilities.
You
Or at
come
least
from a family
I-
of magic tech?
Yes. She demonstrates the double crossbow she has, and even
Darius,
like
Darius looks at it. His eyes go large, like a cat that has just spotted something interesting, and he just gets really close. He goes like, "How does that mechanism work? How did you make it do that?" And it's just like moving all around you, like inspecting every angle of it. Takes out like a magnifying glass to look at it. Oh wow, what interesting screw work over here! What an intriguing mechanism! Completely fascinated by what you're showing him.
I'm just having that reaction of like when you have a cat and you have the little laser
Yeah.
pointer to like have them chasing it all around the room. I'm just like, Phoebe does not know how to take praise about her work.
Well, to make it even worse, then Darius stands next to you and then says "Amazing work! What's your name?"
I'm Genevieve, but you can call me Vivi.
Genevieve Phoebe. Glad to have met you and met all the rest of you. But we're already talking so long, I could get you up in the air and flying up to the Sojourner. So why don't we go inside and get ready for that?
And Luara gives it a deep breath. This brings memories.
Yeah. Leanne looks very uncomfortable, both of them, because they are born of the land, and now they are flying separate on
Not
gliders and rockets. It's not natural.
Sable seems entirely fine. They don't really get scared easy, so they're just their usual stoic self.
Right.
Though internally they're convinced they're just going to crash and die.
Oh no!
With that on your mind, all of you are ushered into Darius' workshop, which is at the base of the docking tower. Currently an improvised workshop under a bunch of tents and tarps. And you see 2 things that you notice. There are indeed a few sets of V-shaped gliders that have straps and everything to strap them to your back. And attached to these gliders are indeed, to each glider, 2 of these tube-shaped propulsion rockets. And they are engraved also with arcane markings. And those of you who are attuned to magic notice that there's indeed a bit of there's aura coming off of it. These are magical technological products that especially probably Vivi would notice this, that the wings of the gliders, they are magically reinforced so that they can keep the updraft better and maybe some other magics are woven into them as well. That's on one side of the workshop. On the other side, you see a set of communication tools, magical versions of what looks like telegraph apparatuses. There's this buzzing sound of static coming from them, and also the sound that you would get on an old-timey radio if you would slowly turn through frequencies, like this something like that. I haven't heard an old-time radio in a long time, but it makes a funky sound. And you hear that static and these frequency shifting noises in the background as you enter the workshop. And Darius looks at it. Well, plan is as follows. Since I still haven't been able to contact the people up on the Sojourner, and he points over to the communication equipment, I want to get eyes and ears up there. So, for each of you, well, almost for each of you, I have to make some adjustments to our fox friend over here. There is a set of gliders with propulsion systems in them, patent pending. I will get you all up to the highest point of the docking tower that we have so far, and you can launch from there to get up on the Sojourner. Once up there, you can disable the propulsion systems. They are reusable, and if you want to get back down, you can use the gliders to either glide down and come down from the heavens like the heroes you are, or use the rockets to come back down faster and look really, really cool.
Noted.
So, Fox, could you hold still for a moment? I think I have to adjust some straps for you.
Ewan is very still, and her eyes does not leave Darius. Just the human eyes just...
And Darius is like completely unfazed by it as he approaches with the glider and the propulsion. He just keeps talking with Ewan and going like, well, I do say I haven't seen a specimen like you before. Very large, beautiful fur. Where exactly are you from?
The ground.
The ground. Wow, what a philosophical answer. I love philosophy. You know, once in philosophy class where I was still studying, and he just goes on this rant, just talking as he takes measurements, adjusts straps of the gliders and everything, and then just, wait.
I see. A man after my own heart.
Wait. I see the issue. If I count correctly, you have 4 legs.
Yes.
Maybe we should use 2 gliders. Because these gliders are made for people with 2 legs. So if we put 2 gliders on you, then it's enough for 4 legs.
Is this how your technology works?
See, the thing about technology is that you sometimes just have to throw things at a wall and see what sticks. And sometimes you propel them with rockets at the wall. Not saying that I'm propelling all of you at a wall, but we just have to find out sometimes.
There is just this very audible silence as Ewan just stares.
And Darius just goes on, like, putting on the straps. And eventually, like, at one point, Ewan, you have 2 sets of gliders strapped to you with each an own set of propulsion rockets. And Darius stands next to it, looks at it, and goes, that will do. That will do.
I will trust your words.
Meanwhile, the rest of you have each been given a set of gliders and a propulsion rocket system. How's everyone doing putting that on?
While this exchange with Leon was happening, like, and Laura leans towards Vivi. He's just like my sister, Anya.
He seems absolutely
And you see, like, the
delightful.
extremely stern face of...
I'm getting the impression she's much more of a Magitech enthusiast than you are.
Who do you think she tested all of her experiments on?
I can understand why that would be a problem. Especially if you did not learn how to duck.
Yeah.
She's going over to you and making sure for once, because she knows you're skittish around the technology, she's actually taking care to make sure you're like, if there are any straps that are buckled in. I also want to note for the record, I am just straight up imagining a glider with the jetpack from Crash Bandicoot. That's all I have going
Me
on in
too.
my head right now. That's all I
Honestly, me
got.
too.
Because the way you described it with the tubes and the V, I'm just like, this is just Crash Bandicoot jetpack. It's great. Best parts of my childhood coming out.
I don't not feel safe. I don't not feel safe.
She's like, you'll be fine. She looks over at Darius, like having the whole conversation, especially as he's in the moment where he's just said, sometimes you just have to throw stuff against the wall. I wouldn't use those words exactly, but he's not wrong. Darius, nobody's been severely hurt or passed away from using these, yes?
Oh, no, I would never allow you to use those. I mean, I had a few interns who had a few minor mishaps with them, but all of them are doing fine. They're not my interns anymore, but that might be to unrelated reasons.
See, this is why I am, you know what? I
As you
must
try and
do
put your
this for
hands
the good
together,
cause.
she clips like any buckle or anything right as you try and put your hands together. She's
Yes.
just like, and clip.
It is for the good cause. It is. It is for the good cause.
Yao doesn't really trust the buckle, so he does that old school where he takes those buckles and just ties it on himself. Just nods everything.
The Jurassic Park Dr. Grant way of doing
Yes,
it, where he's just like,
exactly.
I got two of the wrong buckle. I have to just tie it together to put myself in.
Yep. And then he has a death grip on the handle, like the joystick or whatever. Like,
Sable surprisingly manages to get the thing on, but they do have to tighten the straps to pretty much the shortest limit, and then they're still just a little bit too big.
so you will jiggle a bit inside the jetpack as you fly.
Yeah, not enough to fall out, but enough to be uncomfortable.
Right. As all of you are at one point done in your various ways of getting ready for it, Darius looks at all of you and he says, it's always a beautiful moment to see your own inventions being used by so many people at one time. I am so glad you're volunteering for this. Let's go upstairs and get you launched towards your destination. And he guides all of you into the docking tower as you start ascending the tower itself. And we see the camera panning over the tower up to the Sojourner. And from there, we see it pan up even further, up into the sky, where we can see the barest outline of one of the moons. To be specific, Enluara's home moon. And we see at the bottom, we see the text appearing, meanwhile, on the moon. Two massive, beautifully made doors close behind two individuals. It looks as if we're looking at a beautiful palace, well kept, with plans, lighting, and pillars made out of the finest and most expensive materials to be found on this moon. The individuals who stand before these closed doors, their back to the door, are both dressed in white. One of them is a female-looking person. Long hair, all the way past her shoulders. Blonde, with streaks of silver in it. Her eyes have an emerald green to it, and on her chin is a scar that runs from the lower lip all over her chin. She has all kinds of gears and gizmo on her tool belt, but also a massive tome in her hand. A smile is on her face. She turns to the figure next to her and says, "This might complicate matters, Emanuele. Angela, could you describe what Emanuele, Vivi's father, looks like?"
Great. I definitely already had an idea for what he's supposed to look like and everything. Yep, I am prepared. He has a very like rugged kind of build. Like he's definitely someone who works outdoors, but his appearance very often, at least how she remembers him like growing up and in the time she last saw him, always had kind of the vibe of like how a mechanic working at a shop is, where his clothes, no matter how hard he tried, there's always on like the gloves or the hands or like the hem, like the very bottom hem of the pants, like stains of some kind. If he's traveling somewhere, he's usually gone with probably a better version of the kind of like pelt and hide armor that Vivi was originally going for travel wear, but his is probably a much higher quality and much better design, because hers was just one she kind of picked up where she could. His is stuff he's probably made himself. As far as fighting, I would think he leans more towards kind of somewhere between his armaments being sharpshooter and tinkerer kind of mix. He's just much more on the Magitech side, so he probably has at some point made like a Magitech cannon or things of that sort, but condensed it down to like a smaller size. He's the definition of what you get when you have a nature buff and like a mechanic nerd put together.
Amazing. And the clothes that you described, he is wearing this style, but what's noticeable here, and what would surprise Vivi at this point, is that practically all of his clothing is white, just like the other white-clothed figures. But the expression on his face is one of concern, worry, not even taking in what his colleague is saying right now. And the woman next to him says, "Are you listening, Emanuele?" And he looks up out of his thoughts and says, "Shouldn't the Wellspring and Fork Bridge have been disabled by now?" And she smiles. "You are correct. It should have." And at that point, there's this vroom, vroom in her pocket. She reaches out and she pulls out a mirror very similar to that Enluara has. And appearing on that is not anyone familiar to you. Well, not familiar, but you have seen this person. We see this other white-clothed figure with this set of lenses over their forehead and eyes. The lenses shifting and saying, "Sorry to report this, but Solinus has failed." And the woman just goes like, "Oh, that will indeed change the schedule. Procopius, I hope that you are all ready." And the man goes, "I am already. I am, as we're speaking, entering the Sojourner. I think we can still override its systems. And the fact that the Wellspring is not disabled will not matter when the Wellspring is destroyed." The woman smirks. "Procopius, as always, plans as backups for backups and backups. Proceed with the planning. Emanuele and I will have some dinner later. Won't we, Emanuele?" And again, it seems like Emanuele is not listening. His thoughts elsewhere. We just see him staring off. And only for us as the audience, we hear a brief thought of Emanuele. And it's just, Vivi, one day I will explain this. And it's at this point that the scene fades to black. All of you get a Fabula point because villains have been introduced. And we are heading over to the break for now as a chance to strap into our gliders, get a few drinks, and get ready before in the second half, we're launching some people up onto a magical airship. Take a chance to stretch your legs. We will be back in about 10 minutes, and we'll continue for the second half of today. So see you in a few. Hello, and welcome back to the second half of today's session of Fabula Ultima, the Six Moon Saga. In the first half, we had some visions shared among the party, conversations with the mayor, interesting inventors, and are getting ready to launch people aboard an airship. As we return to our session, we see everyone in the party has been guided up to the highest level of the docking tower. Currently still not finished yet. There's still construction busy, cranes and scaffolding around it. But all of you are on the highest plateau of the tower. The wind rushing by you, all of you with either one or two gliders strapped to you. And Chief Engineer Darius, this 2-meter tall fellow, is walking by you and is explaining what to do. He looks at you and says, well, adventurers, it's actually pretty simple. All you have to do with these patented gliders and propulsion systems strapped to you is get to the edge of the platform, jump, and there is a small button on one of your straps that you can just press to get yourself launched into the right trajectory. I have made sure that the enchantments on the gear have everything in them that should keep you on the right trajectory with the right velocity, so you can get to the correct location up there, which should get you all the way up to the top deck of the Sojourner. Are there any questions at this point?
Is this button reachable with UN?
I think
do I have to press both?
I think you should be. Well, I've made a little adjustment to your glider stat. If you reach the one on your front glider set, and I think you could reach with your snout, then it will also trigger the one in the back. Pretty sure it will. Haven't tried this before, but I believe in you.
Just a long stare. Just stare.
What do we do if it goes wrong?
Well, I have also thought of that. Should the propulsion system not work, there is a backup enchantment in your system that will make sure that your fall will be slow and gentle. Essentially, the gliders will expand and will slowly carry you to the ground. This was a system that took a few attempts to get working correctly, but this set you have here, it will work 100% fine. In the one test I have done with them, which is 100%. So it's working 100%.
I guess.
I look at Vivi. Do you see my agony now? Do you understand? Do you?
Not entirely, to be honest. This is pretty par for the course.
No, this is not. Can we get launched?
I thought when you do the hitting sound, I thought you actually triggered the jetpack. That would be so funny. You just
Hey, we need a new princess. Disappearing out of
Let me
nowhere.
roll up a new character real quick.
No. It's the same character. You just say, "Hello there. I am a second moon princess from the same planet." So it's
I am
Duara.
Yeah.
And we're the second.
just a spare and Luara stash somewhere.
Well, technically, Laura is already the second. So what happens
This is
to
when
the
we
first?
find out that this is when we find out Bloom has cloning practices.
I went to the exact same thought. It's either Bloom has cloning practices or looks like all the royalty on Bloom are Time Lords because Luara is just regenerated.
We just have the like time the time rollback mechanic from Prince of Persia. Remember that one?
Oh my god.
Someone needs to have the access to the sands. Also, someone has to be willing to use it. And if you tell Vivi to do that, she'll think about it in your case.
Damn.
Thanks.
Our memeing aside,
Yes.
our memeing aside, plot progression must occur.
Darius looks at you writing down all these ideas for future inventions, but is already double checking if all of you are good to go.
Yep. Yao will swallow his apprehension and be the first one to launch himself off with Yuan close behind because, they must stay close to each other. Yuan looks a bit more frazzled, like she is stoic, but her fur is a bit just standing up a bit. And then they just launch themselves off and we'll see what happens.
Well, the duo of Leon are the first indeed to jump, and Yao, you jump first, and as you jump and press the button on the strap, there is this almost soothing vibration coming from the backpack, as you can actually, from the corner of your eye, see that the glider wings, they expand a bit, and there's actually a second set that folds out. So now that you have like 4 of these wings, the rockets themselves, they make these sounds at first, worrying you a little bit, but after a few moments, there's this sound, and all of you can see that there's just these blue flames coming out of the back of the gliders as Yao is setting course for the Sojourner. Yuan, shortly after that, also has these wings expand. Both sets now, each of them having 4 wings, so a total of 8 wings on the flying fox here. And you see the figure also going through the sky, and we just see, like, briefly, there's down in the streets, there's a kid with her father going like, "Look, Daddy, a flying fox!" And they look up and they see Yuan flying there. As you are safely on your trajectory.
All right. How fast is it going?
It's like, it's not super fast. It's like, let's say the speed that you would use to drive a car through a city center. Like, you need, like, not fast, but also not super slow.
Okay.
Yep.
50
Gentle.
km. Yeah, 50 km-ish.
Something like that. So you can feel the wind in your hair and everything.
All right. Yeah, Yuan is stiff, but just like they just all limbs locked up, and it's just allowing it to carry her away.
The rest of you following suit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And Luara is the second before she loses like the courage. Let me do this already. And then she activates the thing, and then her jaw is locked. She's like, her jaw is locked, her shoulders are tense, and she is like cursing in a language.
And
oh my.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And we have now a boss that just showed up. We have to fight this now.
When one by one, all of you then follow suit and come into this trajectory over the skies of Fort Bridge. as you make your way towards the Sojourner up in the sky. The ship is massive, and your gentle speed brings you up closer and closer to it as the massive form of just this almost kind of as close as you get, it has some features like whale-like features for it, a massive body, but there's also sails on different angles, a large set of sails on the top, and then like fins on the side, more of them covered in this glittery material. The entire outside seems to be covered in a system of artificial scales that refract and break the light that shine on it. And there's actually, as the closer you get, you can hear from deep inside this ancient machine, you can hear its components moving, engines working deep in the bellies of this machine. And one by one, you all land on the top deck of the Sojourner. Some of you may be more graceful than others, but you did survive using Darius gliders and are now aboard of this mysterious ship. What is your first order of business now that you're up here?
Well, Yuan is gonna try to remove these gliders from her body. Try to free herself, is more like.
The same as in Luara, like I can imagine Yuan being like, you know, and Luara almost like that. Like
For once, Sable seems to have taken to flying really well, and they land perfectly, softly, gently, and just slip the straps off.
Vivi Vivi has it was a little bit more dramatic with how she did it, just to kind of, both in her mind she thinks she's putting Luara at ease, but probably actually making her more anxious. She like jumped backwards when she initially did the launch off, and then spun around and like launched herself up, and she's just kind of done like a nice little like spiral down to land comfortably. It's like, oh, what do you know? These are pretty good, Darius. I'll have to talk to him about some of these designs.
What you all notice once you've all landed here and got a little bit acquainted to the wind blowing up here, it's a bit cooler here as well, is that you have been told that usually people are aboard the Sojourner. But as you look around here on this top deck that has you standing next to these massive sails and fin-like tools and ship parts, there's not a single other person here. It's an eerie quiet all around you.
would it be fair to say that I have been to the ship before, at least once?
It wouldn't be impossible. You could have been on it before.
All right. And Luara says, then this is uncharacteristic. The Sojourner is supposed to be bustling with activity at everywhere. Something happened here. Well, I look for signs of something
Right.
that may. Yeah. Let me make my first die roll in this game for once.
Yes.
Yay.
How
What do I
about
roll?
and Luara, if you're going to look for any kind of traces or things that give away what happened here, can you give me an insight plus insight roll?
26. Okay. I got a 5.
5.
I'm a spend a die because I am. I don't know. I don't think I can justify this very much here. No, it's okay. I'll roll
Okay.
with it.
So you look around, and the only thing you would gather is that wherever they have went, it feels like they left in a hurry. Because what you would notice, and most of you can see this, is they're still on the top deck. There are things that look like merchant stalls. There's these small marketplaces stalls that are put up here. And Luara, if you have been here before, you would remember, depending on how long ago it was that you've been on the Sojourner, that indeed here on this top deck outside, there are markets here. There are merchants that gather here, exchange goods. These people who use the Sojourner's traveling path from moon to Thea to exchange their wares and build their own shops here. And these stalls are still here. Some of them still have goods in them. Some of them are left unattended, but there's no one else here.
What happens to the people?
Question.
Mhm.
Does Sable see, hear anything being on the ship now?
Excellent question. You're on here, Sable, and especially after your landing with the landing of the gliders. Gabriel, could you mute yourself?
Sorry.
Thank you. After the landing, you look around, and while Luara is looking around, yes, you definitely get a feeling that you know where these people might have gone. There are lower levels here. Housing quarters in the lower levels of the ship. And there's also this thought coming into you that wonders, why would they build their merchant stalls up here? They have a perfect good living spaces below in the lower deck. Why would they put them up here? So there is an idea, and you also feel like you know the layout of this place. You haven't been here before, Sable. At least you don't remember, but you know that, oh yeah, somewhere at the end of this deck, there should be an elevator leading us down. And you have it feels like almost instinctual that you could navigate this place without a map and without having seen this before.
Okay, this is going to sound weird, but I think I know where we're supposed to go. I think I know the ship. I don't know how I know the ship, but I think I do.
UN turns. You've been here before?
I don't remember, but I know somehow that at the end of this corridor, there's an elevator that'll take us down to the living quarters.
Before
Why
we
would
go,
they put their market stalls up here instead of down in the living quarters?
before we proceed, we have an unfinished discussion pending, and UN will turn to Enluara. You mentioned that you had something to tell us about the Sojourner. What was it? Gabriel.
Sorry, I got a. Could you repeat the last bit? Sorry.
Oh yeah, UN will turn to you. Go, before we proceed, didn't you say that you had something to tell us about the Sojourner?
Yes. It's not about the Sojourner per se. It is about the visions, you see. And then Laura posts the cartridge that she found, that she got from Yuri, and she shows it, the not Super Nintendo cartridge, and she shows it to the rest of the group, and says, "Do you remember this? The symbol?"
Yes. What is it?
Right. This is this is this is the insignia of House Visales. some old noble family from Gloom. They are said to have disappeared a long, long time ago, but I had briefly spoken with Marla, and she relayed to me that one of their descendants was apparently seen about a decade ago or so. They are involved with this. I just know it. And by coincidence, I came across this. Yuri had it in among his wares, and I believe that if we could find something uh, that could uh, access this is some sort of like ancient uh, data storage thing. I I don't know. You want to have a look at this, Vivi?
Can I expect it and see if there's any way of like decoding and getting the information out of it from based off my particular skill set?
Something like that.
Vivi, as you're being shown this cartridge, you, at first glance, you have not seen this kind of storage before, but you could give me an insight plus insight roll to see if you can garner some more information from it.
That is a 10.
That is a 10.
Wow.
Say,
Insight's my best possible roll I could make.
This is, if anything, this is a very old kind of storage system that no matter how big this cartridge looks, there might not even be that much information stored on it. But it would be tricky to extract the information from it. You would need a suitable device that can read this information and can extract it and could show it by some kind of magical technological device. And since this kind of storage has gone out of fashion for a while, it might be hard to find the right device for it.
Let me ask this though. Would it be possible, given the common knowledge I know regarding the kinds of people who are on the Sojourner, that they might have something that old that it could be used for this purpose?
Probably. If you would have people here who could show you to the right places, or someone who for some reason knows the layout of this place, there might be devices here that could help you extract the info.
If I mention that thought out loud, so Sable can hear, does Sable get a sense of anywhere on the ship where that might be relevant?
Sable would have, there's a thought coming into their head, and it just goes, library. And you would know that this is also a place on the lower levels of the ship to get to the library for that.
I think we have to go down to the lower levels. I have a feeling we might find both what happened to people and some tech down there. I'm slowly losing my voice. I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries.
In that case, let's keep going down. Let's follow Sable's intuition, and let's see what we can find out. I would say everyone be on guard, just to be safe.
Yao takes out his claws. And also his spear. Can never be too careful. And he will march in front.
But he phrased that made it sound like he was like has a set of claws, like a pair of like knuckle dusters or something.
Yeah.
You carefully make your way to the end of the deck. And as you do, could every one of you give me an insight plus insight check, please.
Okay. No, no. Okay, excuse me.
11.
11 from Sable.
9.
9 from Leon.
And Luar, what'd you get?
Double 1.
Okay, I'm glad that I got what I did. I got a 16 double 8s.
Oh, so we have a
Oh, jeez.
critical failure and a critical
Critical
success.
Oh, boy.
I am happy to spend a Fabula point to not destroy this critical success. Can I?
Yes, you can. But
Yeah,
how, on basis of what would you invoke the Fabula point? Which trait?
Pride
are
of
you-
being a princess.
I am a princess. I can do whatever I want. No, I would say that. Okay, so the thing is that I have been here before as a child, as one of those like learning experiences in my training, on diplomacy and knowing like other cultures and stuff. So I do have a vague recollection of this place and
Right.
and its peoples,
Yep.
etc. So I would say that's the one
That
that
makes
I'm
perfect
invoking.
sense.
So I'm just gonna reroll both.
Only
'Cause
one. You only
card-
reroll one die. when you-
only one.
only
Okay,
one.
so what
Only
are
one.
the odds?
Hmm.
I know exactly what are the odds, but you must be shitting me.
Is it a 1 again? Damn. Is that a critical fail then?
Well, let's keep that in mind. We'll get we'll get back to Luara in a moment.
Oh, great. That's comforting.
Vivi, you got a critical success, which means that you also can get an opportunity on your success. Is there any opportunity you would like to use?
There's some very juicy ones. They're really good. I do like the thought of information, but also plot twist sounds amazing as well.
Oh,
'Cause plot twist is someone or something of your choice suddenly appears on the scene,
mm-hmm.
and information is you spot a useful clue. Let's go for more spicy. I want to say someone or something of my choice suddenly appears on the scene.
And who does appear on the scene?
I'm gonna say it's someone who was on the ship, who should not be here.
All right.
We don't know why everyone is gone, but for whatever reason that is, this person has escaped it.
Okay. So,
Oh wow.
Leon and Sable, both of you also keep your eyes as your wits about you. And together with Vivi, at one point, you walk by one of these stalls, and the three of you notice that on the other side of the stall, there is movement between crates and boxes that are still there.
Oh, yeah, I was instantly on guard towards that direction with the spear held out in front. And you will slowly creep towards it.
And as you slowly move towards it, you hear from beyond the boxes, you hear a voice going, "Oh, no, don't come closer. I'm armed and I'm dangerous."
This is the sound of someone who's either not armed or not dangerous or both.
Phoebe calls out, "We are also armed and such. We will abstain from putting forward any other aggression. Just what happened here?"
Well, they all left. What's the situation here? But I'm not leaving my stall. Nuh-uh, I'm not leaving my stall. You just move on. Leave me alone. And do whatever you need to do. But I'm not leaving my stall.
Could you just please come out, please?
No. I'm armed and dangerous. Don't try to get me out.
Yao continues to approach.
I was also gonna ask, is it possible to roll insight to tell whether this person is lying through their teeth or not?
I am
Yeah,
so
I'm
sure
a little,
you're lying.
suspicious.
Yao, you approach,
Mhm.
and as you get closer, you see that there's some of the boxes, they shift again as there's movement behind them, and you hear the voice again. I'm not warning you one more time. I'm very dangerous. If you get any closer, I will use this dangerous weapon I have.
Yao just darts forward and
You
he's not
do
gonna
not have a
attack them.
weapon.
He's gonna drop his spear as he jumps forward to just grab and pull up whoever's behind there.
And as you move there, like in this one Yankee movement, like you're way faster than whoever is hiding behind the boxes. You grab the person, drag them out, and all of you see that it's this fairly fancy dressed, expensive merchant clothing person who is, I'd say, about 1 meter 60 centimeters tall, and it's kind of a humanoid guinea pig person. There's a fuzzy brown cheek, a beautiful like brown fur with blonde highlights, and he's currently wielding a frying pan as he's being dragged by Leon. He's like, "Put me down, or I will."
Yeah, just holds him out like that.
Easy, everyone. Calm down, chill, relax. Evie like sets down her shield and unhooks the arm crossbow to the floor. See?
You all don't look. I haven't seen you on the ship before.
We just arrived.
Just arrived?
Yes.
There's an awful lot of people I don't know that keep arriving here.
Who? Yuen will shift up next to him and speak.
Sir,
Well-
unless you are a terrible cook, I believe that you are no threat to us.
He looks you up and down. I know my way around a frying pan, thank you very much. Anyhow, a while ago I saw this white-clothed figure walking by here, going deeper into the ship. Look, I know everyone else. Everyone else
Where did
was.
they go?
Oh, below. Downstairs. I don't know. They were looking around. They had this weird lenses gizmo on their face, and they were scanning everything, I think, but didn't find me. Good old Basil is good at hiding.
Where did everyone else go?
Oh well, yeah. Well, there were some strange things happening with the Sojourner about a week ago. We had a crisis meeting with all the residents of the Sojourner, and during that meeting, suddenly the emergency teleportation systems, they activated, and well, practically everyone who was at that meeting got teleported away. From what I could tell of the systems, they're probably on, what's that moon again? I think they're on the moon Anya. And then the ship started to change course and everything. I haven't found anyone else here. Everyone else wasn't at that meeting. I wasn't at that meeting because I do not go to those meetings because they always end up in useless discussions.
So there is no one aboard the Sojourner now beyond these white cloaked people?
Well, I just saw one of them. And now, you people here.
But
You're
that was a
not
while
with
ago.
you're not with this figure, are you?
No.
Right, I'm just
One of them almost killed us, so no.
Sorry to hear that. So, are you here to investigate the situation?
And inflict violence upon those individuals whenever we meet them, of course.
I see. Do you... I mean, I had a very good hiding spot behind those boxes and everything, but considering I'm no longer the only friendly face here, would you mind if I tagged along? Name's Basil.
It is nice to meet you, Basil. If the others agree, we will make sure to keep you safe.
Yao puts him on the ground.
Oh yeah, so like so I give a hand up like to shake, like yeah.
He was basically giving you all this information while being held up. And
Yeah. I just realized it now.
Right, lead the way.
Sorry, pronouns?
He
Out
him.
of character?
He him.
He, him? Yeah.
Yeah. And Basil follows you, straps the frying pan to his back, and follows you where you're further heading down. But as you're moving away, we still had a fumble to resolve from
Oh boy.
from Enluara. And as you move, you hear below you, somewhere deep in the ship, there's a very low rumbling sound coming. And you feel the ground beneath you shift as the front of the ship starts tilting upwards. The sails, some of the side sails, they flap once to generate updraft. And the wind picks up, blowing in your faces. The Sojourner is ascending.
Oh hey, I launched the ship.
We need to get down below. We need to see what's causing this. This is not good.
Well, I guess we're stuck on the ship now.
And this is not good at all, as Vivi said. We do not know what happened to the course of the vessel since it arrived here before the scheduled. The rest of its chart might be messed up. We have no idea where we might end up. Let's move fast.
And moving fast you do, as you make your way towards the direction that Sable pointed out earlier. And indeed, there is an elevator. A tube-like elevator that you can enter. And the moment you do, lights turn on inside of it. Together with your friend Basil, all of you fit into this elevator. UN taking up a bit more space, but still you can all fit in there. And the elevator slowly descends as the rumbling from somewhere deep in the ship intensifies. When the elevator doors open again, gently, you see before you a very large hallway that seems to be shaped out of crystals. The surfaces are smooth, but some of them reflect as you walk by them. And built into the crystalline surfaces at the top of the hallway are lights that bathe all of you in a light blue glow. Branching off of this gigantic hallway are multiple other hallways that lead further into different sections. And you see that attached, probably way after this ship was created, attached to some of the hallways are direction signs in languages that all you can read. They point towards housing districts, storage spaces, there's even a one of the signs pointing to a what do you call it? Agrarian district where you would like grow plants and food.
Greenhouse.
A greenhouse. Thank you. That's a greenhouse district. So whoever has been living here long enough knows, has given a proper layout to it. But again, down here, the lot of you are the only ones who are down here. Sable, you look at these hallways, and as you look around, you feel that these places where these signs point to, that at some point they were used for different things. That the sign that points to the housing district, from your, well, what feels like to you a memory returning, that was not a housing district. It was a gathering space, a public gathering space to bring people together. And the storage room was the emergency protection chambers to bring people to safety in case something would happen to the Sojourner. Is there any specific place or direction all of you want to head first, or any kind of other angle you have to finding out what's happened aboard here?
Well, from my memories, I guess, what is now the storage space was the emergency storage. The not emergency storage, emergency protection.
Yes.
That we might be able to find why the emergency teleportation went off in there, if you think that's useful. It's, sorry, this is confusing. The signs don't match what I think should be there.
I say we give it a try.
All right. You wander towards there, and branching off of this massive hallway, you do come indeed to a large oval chamber that has scaffolding and walkways attached to its walls. Definitely not parts of its original construction. People have made themselves a space in here and use the space that came with it for their own needs. But the moment, Sable, you come into this room that is indeed filled with large containers, steel shipping containers and the like, the moment you step into this room, you know that you have helped build this room. You have helped designing it, and you have helped adding it to the Sojourner in case that what the Sojourner was made for would occur, and the people the Sojourner would protect needed a place to stay safe. This is what this space was for, to protect the people the Sojourner would gather in case of what the Sojourner was made for would occur. But there's the thing, you don't remember what that thing is the Sojourner was made for. You know you had a hand in it, you know why this room was made, but you don't know what the reason was this entire thing was created.
Okay. I think Sable has a moment of what's the word? Unbalanced, where they sort of wobble and almost fall. And they sort of hold the sides of their head with the confusion of the overlay of memories that don't feel like theirs, but do feel like theirs.
Leon will look around the space. Is there anything that stands out to us?
There is in this space as well. There are these little alcoves in the side that have on the ground carved into them what looks like runes and sigils, symbols. And Leon, as you look around there, as one of the two of you walks by one of these alcoves, one of these symbols starts glowing, and a translucent image of a person appears, almost a ghostly figure. And you hear this grainy, translucent, but also very wobbly by static figure saying, "Returnal program initiated, 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 any, and then the image disappears again."
Returnal. What is that? I turn towards Basil.
The guinea pig person wanders over and sees, "Huh. Well, these projectors have sometimes been acting up. I don't know what returnal is. We know that these are some kind of projectors of information that some of us have been tinkering with. They sometimes project these ghosts that speak of things that we haven't figured out yet."
Do I know what they are? What returnal is?
As you hear that, Sable, you also feel a memory coming into you. Returnal. That is the situation. That is for the return of them. Of the Eidolons.
In a moment of they don't know how to find the words, they sort of overwhelm everyone's senses, not Basil's, but everyone else's mind. Not really meaning to overwhelm, but just like, I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to show you everything they've just experienced, including the weird, like, double memory, like how confused they feel, the confusion and, like, well, fear. You can feel all of that. They didn't mean to share quite that much, but it sort of overwhelms all of you.
As Leon sort of recovers from that, Ewan sort of like turns and sort of like not quite glare, goes, "You built the Sojourner?"
I guess I was part of it. I don't know. But I think I was trying to keep people safe.
Safe. This structure is meant to bring back the Eidolons. That is not safe.
Pretty sure that's not what Marcus said.
Wait, was it?
No.
I think I misunderstood somewhere.
No, it was meant basically to help in case the Eidolons would return, not to return the Eidolons.
Oh yeah, that was what I thought.
It's teleporting people out in the event that the Eidolons return. That's what it was built for, is what I understand. So it isn't indeed intended as an emergency escape to keep people safe.
Okay, that changes everything. Okay. Sorry about that little misunderstanding.
No worries.
Rewind.
Yeah. Wait.
Just time.
Yeah. Just to clarify, we believe Sable to be one of the Eidolons, right?
I mean, there was also the Corphions, which
Correct.
the word I can't pronounce properly, I think, but
Sure.
which were the people, the beings trying to fight the Eidolons.
Oh, and that is
According
what
to
Sable
the
is
wolf.
tied to.
We don't know
Oh,
which of the two they are, but I think we can start to guess which one they are now.
Okay. Yes. So, okay. Rewind back to when you just go. You built it, and then you say that, and then Yuan will go. So, you are trying to keep us safe.
Always, if I can. Even from me, if that's what needs to be done.
Then, in that case, whatever those scientists are here for, we need to stop them if they sabotage the Sojourner. That might let the Eidolons come back. Where would they go aboard this ship?
GM?
Probably the control rooms further down.
Unless anyone stops them, Sable, almost on autopilot, starts walking back towards the elevator or whatever we need to get to the control rooms.
All right. Lien will follow silently.
Vivi's also following as well. She does reach out and offer to Sable if they wanted to hold her hand for just steadying and or comfort at all.
Their hand is gloved. They do take the hand. Their hand is shaking.
Just grasp, like firm, not enough to like constrict, but just enough to make it clear, like, I'm here, okay?
Okay.
Basil, who's been following you, is listening to all of this, and he's rubbing his guinea pig chin and then says, "So, wait, if that's what you're saying, the ship was maybe just teleporting everyone to safety. There must have been like an unexpected malfunction then."
It was not a malfunction. It did exactly what it was designed to do. I think.
I hope it really brought all of them to safety. But I've been here on the Sojourner for many years. I've never seen it do this. Oh, this really does not bode well.
No. To catch you up, the Eidolons are, well, monsters that are anti-life. And if they come back, it would mean the end of everything.
Well, then we must do what we can to stop that. Very
Yes,
well.
we will. You should go back to your stall. You'll be safer there.
What do you mean? Of course I would be safer there, but I need to help my people out. Gotta make sure that if we can get them back to the ship, there's still a ship left for them to go back to.
If you insist.
And it keeps following all of you as you go head over to the elevator and finding your way back into it. And Sable just seemingly knowing which buttons to press in the elevator to have it move further down, even as you can still feel the Sojourner being at an angle, tilted upwards. You can feel a little bit of the gravity pulling you kind of like diagonally backwards. And the elevator goes down, further down and down into the belly of the ship, towards a control room of a ship that one of you apparently has helped in building a long, long time ago. towards a foe that is working to probably unleash ancient threats to the world, but hopefully also towards answers of why an ancient house of the Moon of Bloom is involved in this, and why a father would join this team of white-clothed figures, these children of Thule. And how all of that will pan out, we'll find out next week as we wrap up for today and end up today's session. All right.
Wow.
Let's
Wow.
go.
Perpetual
Wow.
screaming.
You're on a ship.
We're on a ship to the moon. Okay, to space. Oh no, to the moon. Yet.
I'm dating a protector god. The ex-Catholic in me is very happy.
It is good that we now as a group can more or less guess that we as players already knew because the villains said it, but we as characters now also know that Sable is likely a Corpheon, not an Idola.
Mhm.
So that's
You're not-
good.
So you're not anti-life. You are a protector of life.
Mm.
It seems so.
I'm glad that also as players you got to have that conclusion, because especially at the end of the previous session, I was a little bit worried that they were driving too much on the idea of like Sable is this Eidolon. I'm like, oh wait, we need to have a bit more information before we draw conclusions. So
Vivi
I
was
mean-
fine. Vivi was right.
They're
Yeah.
still horrifying, let's be honest, but hey, at least they're not trying to destroy all life in the universe.
Mhm.
Look, nature's very pretty. It's also terrifying as shit. If you ever seen
Yep.
a tornado or a tsunami or anything, that's nature. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's still
Yep.
scary as shit.
that's
Yep.
true. That's true.
My
All right.
dad's a villain. My partner's a god. You know, it's general JRPG stuff.
Actually, yeah.
This is pretty part of the course.
Kinda.
Pretty
The only thing left is for me to unlock the godly powers within, but that's a finale thing, so that's not gonna happen anytime
Usually, yeah.
soon.
That's likely to be final boss moment, kind of thinking.
Oh no, I'm just imagining Vivi's about to die, and then it's like, no, God Ascension.
We'll see, I guess. I'm sure Marcus has something fun planned.
Furiously taking
Are we
notes.
gonna are we gonna have one of those like boss fights when we're like we defeat the villain and then he transforms into a thing, and then we defeat it again and there's a third phase, and then we defeat it again and there's a fourth phase, and then we defeat it again and there's a
Note taking intensifies.
Oh,
I'm just gonna
Listen.
I'm gonna check with our producer if we can have the final session to be just 7 hours long. Everyone just clear your schedules. This is gonna
No.
be,
yeah.
No.
It's-
look,
Hey.
look. I've played Paper Mario before. I've fought a boss that was like 5 phases. Never again.
Oh, shoot.
No.
Really? That
No.
was a thing? I
He
need
had
to
like
look this
4
up now.
phases. He was a ghost pirate Cortez. Yes, Paper Mario fought a ghost pirate because Nintendo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All I can say is I have given Marcus some ideas, and I'm sure he will run with them for great effect for whenever Sable finally has their
we're gonna I'm
uncocooning effect.
Oh, yeah,
uncocooning.
the
What an
single
interesting way to
wing.
put it. So I'm looking forward to
Or-
that.
Whatever.
We do have 2 sessions left in this campaign and much to deal with, and I'm really looking forward to the next 2 sessions, and I had a lot of fun with this session. But for today, we're starting to save our file. But before we head out, I want to give everyone here at the table a chance to quickly tell us who they are, where we can find them, and plug what they would like to plug. And I'm just going in the same order as we did at the start, starting at the top left with Angela.
Hello there, lovely people. My name is Angela Lemos Morejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I have been playing Vivi, who's, having a Having a time here. Having a time. Both the player playing her and she is a character. She's not at all panicking that her now kind of partner is having existential crisis in real time. It's pretty great. Just slowly losing my shit. But you can find me basically acting as the creative director for Girls Write These Worlds over that is the publishing house wing of Girls Run These Worlds, which I can officially say today, once we've put it out live on itch, that as of the date that this session is being done, the fourth zine that we published through Girls Write These World is about to go through live. It is on the topic of routines. It is an entire zine devoted to a variety of different things that can affect the daily little rituals that refuel us and give us life, and cover things like a word game for how to talk about making a meal together, a whole little mini game quest of helping a pregnant innkeeper deal with all of her stuff until her partner gets home, and then also a table that shows you how to choose your own tasty, comforting beverage and who you might make that beverage for. There's a good amount of sweet, wholesome, and comfort in it, and we hope that folks enjoy and support it once I finally put out the link and everything for that. But yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Gabrielle.
Well, folks, wow, this has been a ride, and I don't even know what to say. But also, Angela just followed the Girls Write This Worlds on itch, and I'll be on to it. And wow. So folks, my name is Gabriel. You can find me everywhere as The Gift of Gapes. I've been having a blast playing Loara, who's absolutely dumbfounded at all of this. And I am looking forward to our next session, where I am hoping that we're going to get to kick some ass.
Fantastic. Nikki.
Hello there, I'm Nick, and I've been playing Leanne, having a blast as well playing this character. Really glad that I don't have to kill any of my fellow party members, but you know, all part of the story. And yeah, you can find me on basically every social media as NickSnat1. That is the number 1, and not really in anything yet, but since my contract with Lyran is over, I am now free to apply for more AP, so maybe in the future I'll appear in a couple more.
Amazing. Definitely hope to see you in more of those soon, Nikki. And last but certainly not least, Nev.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nev, your friendly neighborhood squid person. I am an artist, VTuber, producer. I wear lots of hats for lots of different TTRPG groups. I was an artist for one of Girls Write These World zines. I forget exactly which one what it was called. I think it was the Pride zine, which was very fun. This month, no, not this month, next month, no, in March on Horde of Tales, I will be helping organizing the Women in Games month, which will be run and played pretty much, I think, exclusively by women and femme individuals, to promote more femme and female voices in the TTRPG space, which will be very fun.
Very glad to have you aboard for that as well. Thank you. Well, I'm Marcus, also known as the Individual. I've been your Game Master today and will be your Game Master in the coming weeks as well. And I'm often Game Master because I love being the Game Master. I'm part of the Horde of Tales team here, and here on this channel, we run various games. Today, you've been witness to another great session of Fabula Ultima, but next week, we're also continuing our Thirsty Sword Lesbians game with Angela as the GM over there, which you should check out. And as Nev already said, we are currently also looking for GMs for our Women in Gaming Month coming up in March. If you are interested in that, in joining us for that, you can find all of our details up on our socials with our submissions link where you can join. Follow us on our socials, which you find links down below. You can also just directly hop on our Discord and come join us to chat with us, share memes with us, and generally just have fun on our server. If you're catching up with us today and you want to check out our previous episodes of not just this AP, but also all the other APs we've run on this channel and other videos, go over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Horde of Tales. Check out all of our different videos over there. And with all of that being said, we're saving a game for today. Thanks everyone for dropping by. Thanks everyone for playing, and hope to see you next week. Hope to see you soon back again on Horde of Tales. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.